Hello and welcome to Watchin It episode 202. On today's show, Robert almost goes full Weeb, but think, dream big and go go.
You said it wrong, Don. Think, dream big, and go go. And you gotta do the little peace sign.
No, you're not getting me. No.
All right,
no.
continue.
You almost went full Weeb, not me. Donnell thinks for a show that's so overblown and bloody, sometimes it can make you feel.
You're damn right.
And on Invincible, so do all the bodies get a casket, or how's this working out? I'm your host, Donnell, and with me as always is Robert. Robert, how's it going, man? What's up?
I've been watching a lot of anime still,
What?
Donnell.
No.
I've been watching a lot of anime. But I'm intermixing it in. We don't have time. Again, we don't have time for me to go through it all, so I'm just peppering it in as we
Sprinkling
go.
a little anime.
I'm gonna start with some non-anime though.
Oh.
I watched The Bear.
Nice.
You made that recommendation a few episodes ago.
Mhm.
Fantastic show. Could
Very
not
good
wait for
show.
the next season.
Very good show.
Yeah, really good. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. None of these people have any business running a restaurant, and their funding situation is dubious,
Yes.
to say the least.
Yes.
But there's some moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the brother character's evolution is amazing, or the cousins'
Yeah,
evolution is amazing. The way he ends in that last season is fantastic, and
Yes.
the uncle and just
Yeah.
lot of really good
I'm glad
scenes.
you liked it because, I went into that one.
only
like-
unrealistic thing. No one smoking weed in the walk-in.
Yeah, that's.
If
I worked in a restaurant for a long time.
Every time you walk in the walk-in, there's got to be somebody just smoking
Yeah.
weed in there. Like
Out
that's
back
how
in the
you
alley.
do it.
It's freaking that's
Maybe
how
not
it
in a
plays.
Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
but, that's how it goes. I watched the Netflix show The Gentleman.
Mhm, mhm.
This is based on a movie I found out.
Okay.
It is about a British aristocrat, like a royal.
Yep.
Like not high up, but like a duke or something like that. I can't remember. His dad dies. He inherits the title, the big mansion, the lands, the farms, everything.
Yep.
And finds out that they've been running a giant weed farm on it and underground. And he gets caught up in the world of drugs and high crime.
Okay.
And it's just really good. Just really fun show.
Nice. Sounds good.
Fantastic. Yeah. I tell you now, Donnell, if not for a lack of funds and my better angels, there would be on my shelf right now a statuette of a maid holding a gun. I Googled it. I checked prices. I almost committed. But that's a bridge too far.
What
I mean, like
what was
once
the
I
price?
clicked that buy button, I was like $500 because they
Oof.
don't make them anymore.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
those things are expensive.
Oh yeah.
They get
oh,
up
yeah.
there. Those little anime statuettes.
Oh yeah.
I've definitely-
no freaking joke. Do they
I've
get
definitely been
expensive.
looking at some shirts for a few shows and stuff, and I'm just like, no, Robert, no.
Robert can't cross this bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, once you cross that bridge, you don't come back.
Yeah,
Robert.
the first time that you buy a little anime girl figurine, you clear off shelf space because more are coming. I've seen the people that buy these things.
Yes.
They can't buy just one.
No,
It's like the little
no.
pop figurines. You can't just get one. So first the anime I'm gonna talk about, Akiba Maid Wars.
Freaking that one.
The
is
most
so
wholesome show
bizarre.
I've ever seen about maid cafes
getting
and
popped in the
gang
head.
warfare. For those that don't know, in Japan, there is this thing called a maid cafe
Yep.
where there are a bunch of girls, young ladies, not girls, but adults,
Yep.
dressed up as maids and
They serve
having a
for
restaurant
you and,
there,
yeah.
and they call you master and do dances and karaoke songs
Yep.
and all sorts of stuff. I've looked into it. It does not look like anything I ever want to do or visit or go to. I hear it used to be interesting, but now it's kind of taken over by like two main franchises and has gone downhill. Most of them are cutesy and stuff, but they do have some that are like old school maids. Like the maid, the one that like you picture when you go, if you go and Google it up, you're
Yeah.
gonna see a bunch of girls in like Lolita outfits and
Yep,
stuff like
yep.
that, right? No, but they have some where it's just like a nice like cigar smoking lounge, and the maids have like ankle length skirts, and like it's very like kind of British old,
Yeah.
like old school. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
the one for me.
Robert, like I might swing
Yeah.
by one of those.
I'm not for the big pink one with hearts and everything. No,
Yeah.
I need the angry old maid that's hanging out there. Anyway, just a fantastic anime.
Yes.
Wholesome.
Have you
for
watched
some reason.
all of it,
I've
or-
watched all of it.
Okay.
It is fantastic.
Okay.
It is about a girl who goes to work at one of these maid cafes, and first day on the job, people get murdered.
Yeah, she only knows maid cafes as like the wholesome image that they really are, probably. And turns out, yes, there's a whole underground maid crime syndicate war going on, and she very quickly is thrust into it.
Yep. Like first day on the job, by the end of the day, she's covered in blood. Just brain juices and everything.
Luckily, she still had that bib on.
Just fantastic character, super funny. Towards the end, it does get a little serious, as most animes do, but it's still it just keeps the wholesomeness to it. I don't know how it has almost no. I mean, really, it's non-existent. I can't think of it. I talked about it last week. Fan service. Somehow they made the show about these anime girls and maid outfits and stuff, and they not showing all the stuff and whatnot. Yeah, just fantastic. I love it, and you need to cue that up next.
Nice.
Then I discovered a new anime this past week.
Okay.
Called Gate. Gate.
I know of this one.
Absolutely amazing. This is where was this show? I felt this show was kept from me, Donnell, because this is it. This is the civilization fever dream. This is horses and bows and arrows against tanks.
Yes.
Basically, a portal opens up in the middle of Japan, and all these guys on wyverns with swords and armor and bows and arrows come running out to charge it and just get decimated.
Yep.
Very quickly. And then Japan's like, welp, get the tanks and the helicopters and the jet fighters and the machine guns and the artillery ready. We're going to the other side. And they just invade this fantasy kingdom with their modern weaponry and bombs and military tactics. It is fantastic. It is so good. Just when they're rolling up on a castle and they've got the Blackhawks coming and they're playing Wagner and they just decimate. Just decimate. It is so good. If you haven't seen the whole thing, absolutely gotta. Unfortunately, there's only 2 seasons. It has a good solid ending. I guess the manga went on for quite some time.
Yeah.
But we're not getting any more seasons. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we both watched something.
Yes, we did.
X-Men 97. Saturday morning cartoons are back on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. I mean, that's the thing. I just think about my childhood, and I mean, we talked about last week about Dragon Ball, and that was part of my childhood. But I will say, nothing gets the blood and the nostalgia going like that theme song coming on.
Yeah,
like I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I watched Gargoyles. I watched a lot of anime growing up. I watched a lot of Saturday morning cartoons, but nothing beats the X-Men theme song.
The X-Men is the one that you watch all the way through.
Yes.
Every time. Even if you got it on VHS or something. Like,
doesn't matter.
You don't walk away to get some cereal or anything. No, you are, as soon as that music comes on.
Oh, that music.
It has started.
If you are a child of this time, you know that music gets you.
So they redid it.
Yes.
It's the exact same song.
Yes.
It doesn't hit the same.
It does not hit the same.
It doesn't. Here's what I'll say about this show. First, the story's fantastic. Really good story. I can't remember. I should have gone back and watched the last few episodes of the old show.
I mean,
but it seems like it just picked up right where it left off. Yeah. The whole show is not as crisp, is the word I would say. Like the theme song is there, but it just feels softer. There's something off of it. It does not have that edge to it that the 1990 version did. And the animation is not bad, but it is not as crisp.
Yeah. It's definitely, you can tell, like, this is made by people who loved it, but not by the people who made it.
Yeah.
So they're trying to replicate it, and they're not doing bad. I enjoyed it, but I do agree with you. Like, there's just something slightly.
I mean, I'm gonna keep watching it just because the story's really good.
Yeah.
Voice acting.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yes.
It's a problem.
Yes.
There's too many voices where I'm just like, that is not the same voice.
You can't. I mean, it's one of those things. I can tell you this. I cannot name a person on the cast of the original, but I know their voice.
Yeah.
And I agree with you there.
But basically, Charles Xavier's died.
Yep.
Scott and Jean Grey are having a baby.
Yep.
They're getting ready to leave because they're just like, we can't raise a kid in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, the last will and testament of Charles Xavier shows up. Boom. Everything is left to Magneto. He's in charge now.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is good.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
just
good.
like
It's done really well. You can tell this. The Magneto character is just teeter on the edge of like, am I gonna go full totalitarian terrorist, or am I gonna try and live up to the wishes of my friends?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things about X-Men. I mean, sure, there's lots of different, hero dichotomies, but I think X-Men is really one of the probably where it's like, you have like Superman and Lex Luthor, and they're like polar opposite, Batman and the Joker. But with
you're comparing DC to Marvel, Donnell.
Okay, Spider-Man and Green Goblin,
okay, good,
and stuff. The Fantastic Four and Galactus, which is a weird one, but still. Or actually, no, sorry, not Galactus, Doctor Doom. That's the real.
I mean, Fantastic Four do go after Galactus.
Yeah, but it's Doctor Doom. I'm talking about your pivotal main villain. Yeah. It's Doctor Doom. Let's not even mess around. But anyways, but that thing is, you see that they're usually either opposites of themselves, or you see but with Magneto and Xavier, there's such where most of them are perpendicular. There's such parallel where it's like you can see either one doing what the other does.
Yeah, they both respect each other.
Yeah, if things were slightly different. And it's just like, it's so interesting having them both go around, like I said, respecting each other, being friends at times and in the past and even in the present, working together, but still always just having that like it's a very unique to X-Men.
The X-Men movies where somebody makes fun of Xavier to Magneto, and Magneto's like, he's done more for our kind than you will ever imagine. It's just, he's my friend. Don't mess around. And I mean, Magneto's such a great character because you can sympathize with his situation. He's like, he was a Jew.
Yeah.
That's watched his people get massacred.
Yeah.
And now he's a mutant watching his people get massacred. And
exactly.
But it's really good. Everybody should go watch it. I don't want to give away too much about it.
It's worth the watch.
It's just really good. If you like that, like 1997, it's off just a little.
So I have Disney Plus, and they always have like their most watch, and on their most watch, I mean, it is there, but it's not as high. X-Men 97 is not the highest thing. The highest thing is the original X-Men. Because I feel like
people are still catching up.
And then also there's 2 episodes, and I feel like people either who like us knew it, or even if you didn't, you watch those 2 episodes and you're like, well, I can't wait till next week. I need some more. And so everybody's just queuing up the X-Men to be like, let's roll.
So, Donnell, what else you been watching?
So, you introduced me to a little anime.
I've infected you.
A little something.
Every time Donnell comes over, we'll like take a break, and I'm like, let's watch an episode of something. Let me see if I can get you hooked on.
Some stuff. And I was watching a couple all at once, but now I'm dedicated to one. I forgot it's the only way I'm going to get through any of them is just to focus. So the one I got dedicated to is one called Undead Unluck.
A fantastic choice.
Bizarre because, as you heard last week, me and Robert are not a big fans of the fan service.
Correct, yeah.
But this show is chock full of it.
But it works.
But exactly, I was saying,
it's non-gratuitous fan
works.
Service.
And the thing that is bizarre about it is this is by far, this is like, I mean, people talk about things like Naruto and One Piece where there are animes that they're not, because there are solely comedy animes.
Yeah.
But there also are ones where it's like, oh, this is your action adventure, but more comedy leaning.
Yeah.
And this would definitely be like the creme de la creme of that. Like, it's definitely not a it could maybe be a soul comedy, but I mean, they definitely still have the fights and stuff.
This is one of the like top 3 that I would recommend to people. Yeah.
So in this anime that is chock full of fan service, bonkers off the wall fighting, crazy comedy. The main character is nude 80 to 90% of the time, and it's just all this stuff. And yet they still find a way. And the main thing I'm referring to, I mean, there's been a few of them, but the main time I'm referring to is when the freaking invisible sealed girls, I think it was it Uncant or what is it? Unmoved? I can't remember what it is. Unchanged. Yeah. When she freaking is dying, so just like it was bonkers off the wall.
Yeah.
This huge fight, blood everywhere and stuff. That's another thing. Gratuitous amounts of blood. Nudity, you don't see anything, but still, a nude main character, which is the guy instead of the female in this one, but still, nude main character, bonkers comedy, gratuitous violence, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, now we're going to have a serious moment where you get to know the backstory of this character who just a second ago was saying some ludicrous shit. And you're just like, oh, no, I wish he didn't die. And you're hitting the field.
Have you gotten to where they go fight one of the Yumas?
Yes.
Like the undead Yuma or whatever, and then like he pulls the thing out of his head? Yeah. It gets real. There's some depth there. We should tell people what this show's about.
Oh yeah.
It is about there's a girl, her nickname is Unluck, And she finishes reading her favorite manga and is getting ready to jump off a bridge into an oncoming train.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, a guy shows up.
I mean, we're going to tell him why she's about to do that?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. So, and then a guy shows up and stops her, and he touches her.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't touch me. You're gonna die if you touch me.
Yeah.
And he touches her. He sets her down, and then he falls off the bridge and gets destroyed. I mean, just splattered by a train.
Yes.
And then she starts freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulls himself back together because he is undead.
Yes. And not in the in the vein of normal undead where it's like zombieism. He's fully functional. He just can't die.
Yeah.
And basically in this world there are people with powers that's always something. So undead in the sense
called
of he's
negator.
Yes, a negator. Yeah. He's undead, so he can't die. And then she has unluck, which means like anybody who touches her unluck happens, and then it's just so severe that you almost always die.
Yeah.
And stuff. Her grandfather apparently only sprained some ankles a couple of times. But anyways, and yeah, it's just a very bizarre world. You get to meet a bunch of other negators with weird, unique I've been enjoying like trying to guess what people's is. Like, I and stuff. But
some of them are really overpowered and stuff. But yeah, anyway, they team up. He decides like, I've got it.
He wants to die.
He wants to die.
He's been around forever and he's ready to be done, but he can't die.
Yeah.
He has ludicrous. Like you think Deadpool and Wolverine have some regeneration factor. This man is ludicrous.
And
like,
also it's a
instantly.
weapon.
Yeah.
Like he can use it as a weapon. He can fly around by splurting shooting blood out of his legs.
It's not shooting blood out of his legs. Remember, he's continually shooting his feet off to propel him up, and the blood spatter is just happening. Like I said, this show is ludicrous, and the violence and gore is insane, but it's a good watch, and it's
well, like that.
grippy.
So the idea is that they team up, which is odd, but he figures out that the more she cares about someone, and the more loving the touch, the more insane the death will be.
Yes.
So he figures out I've got to make her fall in love with me and have sex with me.
Yes.
And that's ludicrous and stupid. But it's so heartwarming because he really does care about her and she cares about him. And then they go and join this super secret organization. And then it gets really bonkers. Like that scene where she's doing the painting on the beach. Yeah. And the lady's what are those sparkly things you just painted in the sky? It's like, I don't know. Yeah. And then it shows the sky and there's no stars. But stars, they show up later. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, the show's so good. Yeah. And insane. Yeah. Yes. Undead Unluck.
Yes.
It's a watch.
Check it out.
There's no real nudity.
No, there's no real nudity.
They cover up. They have his privates. Like he's naked most of the time because he's always getting blown up.
Exactly. Like,
but his junk is covered.
And one thing they did, confirm, which I'm just like, man. I mean, I guess like I said, it's one of the things to think about. Like, could you get used to that level of extreme pain?
No, yeah.
If you had experienced it, because I mean we don't know how long. I'm assuming a couple hundred years that he's been alive.
He's been around for 200 years. Yeah.
And so I'm like 200 years of
get used
extreme
to it.
pain, because I mean that with the ease and stuff, and like how he uses his body as a sheath for a sword and stuff, and I'm just like all the time, just like he's biting his fingers off. And I'm just like, can you get? I mean, I guess if you're doing it all the time, eventually, like, well, that's just big.
Your brain just gets used to it and just says this is just normal.
Yeah. It's all about impulses where your brain just kind of knocks that one down on the list of not important anymore. But yeah, so give it a watch, and that's what I got. That's what we got. No news.
No news.
We were going to talk about some trailers, but then we watched those trailers. So but if you haven't watched them, check out the trailer for Penguin, and also check out the trailer for Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Yes, Beetlejuice. I would want to ask you, Robert, what do you think about a Beetlejuice sequel?
I mean, it's long overdue.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about Jenna Ortega on it. I'm excited for another season of Wednesday, but there's literally been nothing else that Jenna Ortega has been in that has shown me that she can act. Yeah. That she's a leading lady. Like, she Wednesday that could just be directing, but this is Tim Burton too. He's shown that he knows how to get something out of her. We
have I can't remember either one of their names, but the mom and daughter from the original both coming back.
I'm upset. No Gina Davis.
No
Alec Baldwin.
No. I mean, Alec Baldwin's in a weird space.
And then, of
right
course,
now,
you can't
so.
bring back the dad from the original because he's in prison or something for kiddie porn.
But yeah, when I was watching the trailer, you don't. It's a teaser. You don't see much in it, you know. But when I was watching, the only thing that kept coming to my mind is like, I had to like go back and like, how did Beetlejuice the first one end? And I just feel like, was there really? I guess my thing is like,
well, he got sent to hell, or the afterlife, for forever or something. So we don't.
But he's still somebody else's ticket at the end.
I'm assuming that they'll concoct a reason why he's able to get back into the game.
I'm just like, I
mean, there's a lot of questions. I'll say it now. We're just gonna watch it and then we're gonna cover it probably.
Yep.
You know, because it's gonna be something. You know, it's right up our alley. But there's a lot of questions of like, why would the mom let her up in the attic? Why wouldn't she be warned about Beetlejuice? Like, there's a lot of questions.
I never realized Beetlejuice is the same age as me. Came out in 1988.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyways, I just thought it was interesting. But yeah. That's all we got. We're going to take ourselves a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to dive into Invincible. All right. We're back. Invincible, Season 2, Episode 6. Did you happen to catch what the title is?
It's Not That Simple.
Yes.
There's a lot in this episode. Another long one. Another 50-minute episode.
A lot less bombastic than the first one.
Yep.
But still, we got to kind of get to, I guess, catch up with, at a very rough time, but kind of catch up with a lot of the characters, kind of see where they're at. But we start off back where we end it with the two, what are they called?
Guardians?
Events, I guess.
Happening.
We first come in to finish up with Rex and, I can't remember what that dude's
Lizard
name.
King.
Lizard King, yeah. Which, I'm just like, so I read a little bit review thing about, or from the creator about why he killed off characters in this return episode, and he was saying it was to make the Lizard King seem more threatening than he originally had. And I'm like, a couple of things I feel wrong with that is, one is, as we saw in this episode, like if he would have, which he does shoot Rex, but Rex actually lives, and so does Shrinking Ray both survive. We're still
which
on the
is a
fence about
mistake.
Duplicate,
which is a mistake.
Okay,
both Rex, I like the idea of, so Rex gets shot in the head and then he gets up and takes out the Lizard King, but then Rex should have died. And Shrinking Ray should have been dead. Both of them surviving was I did not like that decision.
I think that was when at first, even before he gets up and beats him up, when he shot him in the head, I thought, I was like, oh, they're taking this, and I actually wrote down, I was like, is Invincible doing The Boys? Where they're taking the story completely different than the comics, which they still could be, but it definitely was one of those things. Like when I saw, because Rex is not dead in the comics, or and that sort of stuff. I can't even remember Shrinking Ray. I haven't like.
But are those characters so important that we need to keep them alive? We can kill those guys off.
But we can come back to that. As we already said, Rex gets shot in the head. But and it's true, you can survive getting shot in the head and having part of your brain blown out. I did write down, like, Rex is gonna be fucked up.
He's gonna have some trouble.
Like, he lost a hand. Even when he stands up again, you can see like a huge part of his side is like ripped out. Yeah. He's also been blown up in the head. I'm like, you don't just come back from that. Like,
they're gonna reboot. Hey,
they're gonna give him a hand.
You got Cecil.
Maybe Cecil will pull some strings. I'm like, even if you do, there's gonna be a lot of
I think they're putting some
in the
tech
chair.
in him. I think there's
definitely in the
tech
hand
in the head too, man. I think they're some mind control device or something
and then we also get to see that as we already said, Shrinking Ray somehow, I guess while he was growing, like hit his skeleton and then stopped, and somehow after he died was still alive and able to come out.
You can have some PTSD from that. Crawling out of a dude's neck hole.
That's but Duplicate apparently is dead. We'll see, because I know how the comics go, but I also kind of feel like maybe it's going to be hard for her to come back, like especially after people have a funeral for you. And all that. Just be like, hey,
awkward.
I'm here. But I'm kind of wondering if she's in Bermuda.
Oh, and that's why he wanted it. Yeah. Well, so spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler. In the comics,
yes,
she is not the original one. Yeah. Is not present.
Kate Prime.
Yeah, it's hiding somewhere in the world.
It's just. Yeah, unless you destroy the whole world, you can't kill her.
Yeah,
because she just. Which you got to think about. I'm assuming that she experiences all her other selves.
Maybe.
because if not, it's like that's a very lonely existence. I mean, to keep yourself alive.
I thought she said that she felt every time one of them died.
I think so.
Like there's a connection there.
So she probably gets to hopefully experience because, like, yeah, if you're not, you're just like, oh, all my other selves are all having fun, and I'm just living in a cave by myself with nobody around. But anyways, I'm wondering if part of me was wondering, like, because that's another one of those things of if she was doing that, just like we said, there's no way Cecil wouldn't know. Or that the Martian was a Martian. Like, if there's anybody who knows that secretly she's out there,
because the immortal takes it hard, super hard, and Cecil orders him to go to Bermuda. And I was thinking the same thing you were. I'm like, oh, that's where she is.
And maybe just like she wants out of the game. But anyways, so that's how the first thing wraps up. But then we get to go to space on the Martian ship, and we get to see the Sequids, yes, the Sequids.
I'm just calling them squids.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much it.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta say, I mean, I know this is jumping around a lot, but like there is a lot of threats in this season, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot.
I mean, we only have a few episodes left.
Oh yeah, I imagine we're not going to be wrapping up storylines.
Well, like in the post credit, we see the brain guy finally come back, which we didn't see him since the first episode.
Season 2. All right, episode 2.
Yeah,
because the last time we saw him,
I imagine he's going to be like a next season villain, maybe. I mean, are they going to bring? I mean, they put him in the post credit. Is they going to try and shoehorn him?
I mean, I kind of feel like he might be showing up because I mean, he did. I mean, he's back in our universe. Or
I guess
he might show up just to. Yeah, it's going to be messy.
I don't like it. But
anyway,
they can do whatever they want. It's still a good show.
We get to see. What's his name? What's his real name?
It doesn't matter. Robot Man.
Yeah, Robot Man. His invention works, but while they're not paying attention, they get on freaking Robot Man and Adam Eve, and all I could think is like when I saw that, I was like, oh, like
again,
this.
They should have drawn. They immediately fixed the situation, but they needed to draw this.
I know. I thought this was going to go somewhere because I was like, Adam Eve can make a ball that they can survive in space. Yeah. Like I thought they were going to just like as soon as they took over those two bodies, Adam Eve was going to like make a ball and they're going to punch a hole through the wall and bounce.
This is an overpowered character.
Yeah.
And then an overpowered character in Robot Man, who's a super genius, and has access to all this tech.
Yeah, it would be insane. But nope, that's quickly rectified by them using the machine again to free everyone. And then we get what I have to say, man. I gotta say, I gotta disagree. I gotta disagree with Invincible for multiple reasons. They're leaving the ship, and the Martian is like, "Hey, we can't let you leave with Shapesmith. He needs to be punished." And Invincible's like, "What's his punishment?" And it's like death. And I am 100% like, I gotta be straight with you. One is, I mean, for a lot, like a shallow reason, but there's also a real reason. Because like one is like, you barely know the guy.
Yeah.
Barely know. He is a Martian. And then also, he lied to everybody.
Yep.
And then it's like, he endangered the human race.
Yep.
He endangered the Martian race.
Yep. He attacked an astronaut.
Yeah. He attacked the astronaut. He
stole his
essentially
identity.
committed crimes. Like, that's the thing is like, you're a hero. You're about justice. And we do have the death penalty on Earth too. It's like, let's see. He committed crimes against his own race, got him enslaved and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I feel like he should be judged by his people. Yep. And if they have the death penalty and that's what they see fit, I mean, with the amount of damage he did, I'm like, yeah. And then also the last thing is because Mark does end up, saving him. I'm like, that thing is like, also what you're doing here could spark off a interplanetary war. So I'm just like, there's a lot of reasons not to, and I can't think of any reason other than like, I guess he's a part of the team, but I can't think of any reason to save him. I'm like, the shallow reason of just like you barely know him, but the serious reason of interplanetary war. He is a war criminal on his own planet. He also is kind of a war criminal on Earth because he almost brought this alien race to or caused aliens. I'm just like, there's a lot here that says let this guy go to prison and whatever happens.
He's also
happens.
just a regular criminal on Earth too.
Yeah, he is. He's been stealing stuff and
and he's an illegal alien. He's an undocumented intruder.
Identity theft. Like he has a long list of crimes. So I was like, Mark, what are we doing?
There's a side story here about Deb and the baby.
Yes.
Let's run through that real quick here. So Deb is all in. She's taking care of the baby.
Just
Cecil wants in on it though.
Yeah.
He wants to shoehorn his way in. I mean, we know.
Yeah.
Cecil's got bad intentions here, right?
Yeah.
I
I won't say bad intentions. He probably wants a hero that he can groom from baby age to be completely loyal to him. But on that same note, like, Cecil, just like I said about Amanda Waller, when you look at it, they're all about the survival of the human race and doing whatever they can to do that. Where it's like, I don't want to like say bad, and like I don't see, and even less than Amanda Waller, I don't see Cecil as someone who's like, I need control like of everything, or I need. It's just I need to. There's a lot, which is, I mean, I think commonly brought up with the heroes. I mean, the boys, everything deals with this. There's these insanely powerful beings.
I don't want to call him sinister.
Yeah.
But he wants control of this baby. He wants to study and experiment on this baby.
I don't know if he wants to study and experiment. I think he wants to raise it from the beginning to be loyal to him, so he knows he always has. Yeah. You know,
that's still
Invincible.
Sinister. That's still sinister,
Invincible goes rogue, or the Mortal goes rogue. They have no sworn loyalty to him. But if this baby is raised to see Cecil as, you know, his father in a sense, or, you know, just the person that he always listened to, it's like, oh, you got. Like, this is the hero. Like, you got your guy.
But this is kind of funny stuff. First of all, the baby's growing really fast. It's already walking and talking. And then I love the line of like, oh, it took a while for mom to get used to chewing the food.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, ooh, that's going a long way, Deb.
I'm just like, that's where I was
to
like,
talk to somebody about that.
Deb is all in. Apparently, I was like, for this being Nolan's son. I mean, I guess it just shows how good of a person Deb is, because a lot of people, especially if your husband destroyed half the world and did a whole bunch of terrible shit, and also since he called you a pet dog, like there's a lot of people like, screw this baby.
But then she ends up getting a nanny at the end.
Yeah.
And I just like the idea that Cecil's just like beaming in nannies one right after the other, because as soon as she kicks one out for being a spy, another one knocks on the door as soon as the door closes. And then I'm just like, oh man, if she kicks her out, then it's like before the door closes, another one's there.
Yeah, slides their foot in the door. But my thing, Deb makes it very clear before our final nanny, which is still working for Cecil, but also is loyal to Deb, it seems like. But
I don't think she really is, but I think that she's like, hey, there's not a whole lot of people that can nanny for child care for super people. I got a lot of leeway here.
And that's where my question comes in, is Deb makes it very clear, like, oh, she doesn't want Cecil involved. And I was like, what nanny were you gonna get if you don't go through Cecil? Like, the first thing I wrote down when she was interviewing him before she said she was a spy, I was like, how do you explain the purple? Like, even if you like maybe can hide the powers.
I mean, this is a world with superheroes and stuff like that. You just explain the situation and be like, this is my alien husband's alien baby, but you don't have to name names or anything, but.
So I want to jump back.
Keeping Cecil out is a good question, because he's going to get involved no matter what. He's going to be. I mean, he's got microphones in the house and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
I want to jump back real quick, because there's a scene. It's just a quick thing, but it's also it's a question. Is after Mark and them escape the Martian ship. There's a scene where Robot Man, Robot Boy, maybe, I don't know. But he goes up to Monster Girl and is like, yeah, I was able to change myself and conquer my fear, which can or cannot be a bad thing. But also he's like, so maybe I could look for a solution. She's like, cuts him off. And I'm like, I gotta be honest, like, because I don't know how her power plays out in the long run.
Yeah.
Like, if she keeps going monster, does she eventually become an infant and then can't do anything?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, why not have him look for it? Like, if he can find a solution, I'm not saying get rid of your power, but maybe he finds a way where it keeps you from de-aging every time. I'm just like, she's just like, so no, I don't want it. I'm just like, why not? Like, why the hell not? Your power has a very serious.
He's being a dick about it. He's trying to be controlling of her life and not. I mean, she's a grown woman, even though she's in a kid body. He's a grown man, but he's got stunted interpersonal growth that she doesn't have. She's like a full-fledged like mental adult and has had relationships and things like that.
She's immortal.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because like, can she just keep? I mean,
can she just turn into Monster Girl?
But can she keep de-aging? Down to
I would
a
assume
baby.
Yes. I would assume
and then grow up again and then de-age back down. Like, can she live in?
Well, the question is, does the monster version age forward?
Where if she becomes a monster and it's older and it dies while she's in monster form. Yeah. Man,
that's good questions.
That's a double-sided curse.
That's the kind of questions we like here at the Watchin It podcast. Yeah.
Need some. We're going to need.
Every time that she turns back into human form, it ages.
The monster? Ooh, yeah. Works in reverse. Ooh, man.
That's good stuff right there.
Bizarre. Yeah, let's get into that. Come on.
We get a little bit of Donald in this episode.
Yep.
Fantastic. I love that he's like talking kind of robotic.
Mm-hmm.
He's just very like monotone and like his speech pattern is very like on tempo. Like,
Donald, I feel like there's gonna be a reckoning with Donald. Like there's gonna be some shit.
Absolutely.
I do just love when Donald is dropping off Rick, who, if you remember from season 1, was captured by, I can't remember the dude's name, but captured by a dude and basically turned into a cyborg killer.
Why is Rick here?
Yeah, why is Rick free?
This better pay off, and I don't see it paying off because William's all like, "Oh, Rick, I'm in love with you," whatever. I'm like, you guys didn't like, you didn't even get a date.
Yeah,
you're just some random guy.
So why are you dropping him off with William? Not as a phone. But also, I'm just like, no, I get like he's a survivor stuff, but like, I don't like they spent a bunch of time rebuilding him, but it's like, has he spent like? I feel like this man still has years.
And why did Rick deserve to be rebuilt? I think he's still got tech in him. I think the reason Donald dropped him off is because he's a robot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I wrote down. Is like Donald is speaking about Rick, but he's also speaking from personal experience. Like, and I think that's 100%. But I'm just like, why are we like, even if all said and done, Rick should still be in a mental hospital for a year. I'm not saying he doesn't get his freedom back eventually, but like this dude went through some traumatic shit.
He's not going back to college. And, he's taking a gap year.
Yeah, he's not going back to college or nothing. Like, it makes no sense that Rick is back. And I feel like, you say it won't pay off. I feel like, it's going to pay off, but I feel like it's going to be in a very terrible way. Like something's going to go wrong in his brain. Like you said, he probably has some tech. And I mean, part of me is like, is he going to kill Will?
With all the stuff we got going on in this show, I'm happy to cut out the Rick storyline.
Yeah.
Unless it ties into Donald's stuff. Then
I didn't write down.
It's got to tie into Donald's stuff.
I don't know why Donald isn't suiting up yet, because I feel like, he got some tech in him. I feel like Donald can start fighting. And I feel like Donald should be joining. They need some team members. Come on, Donald.
We get a little bit of Rex in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Love Rex.
Yeah,
loving
Rex
this
is
new
turnaround
Rex character
of the year.
He's in the hospital. He's got the brain hat on. He's missing a hand, but he's still like coaching his people.
Well, I'm about to say, what I love is, and I mean, don't get me wrong, relationships are a serious thing. They're fragile, but you have two guys going through some shit right now. One of them is having a hard time with his girlfriend and balancing his life. The other one had his brain blown out, and yet Rex is the one who's like, okay, sit down, let me hear what's going on. I'm like, Rex is being the better friend, and he's literally in the hospital missing an arm and part of his brain.
I mean, what do you say?
I just feel like if we're putting the scales out about who has the bigger issue right now, I'm like, come on.
A big portion of this episode is the relationship of Amber and Mark.
Yep.
And I don't care.
I mean,
can they just break up already?
That's kind of one thing I saw. Actually,
this relationship is doomed.
Like, that it was just like, can Amber and Mark just stop wasting our time? And I'm like, yeah.
As soon as they went to the coffee shop scene, I'm like, it's happening. It's happening.
And then I thought it happened off screen.
Very important film real estate for this.
I thought that happened off screen also when Mark was like going around moping. Like, oh, so he broke up with him. But then to find out that they haven't broken up yet, I'm just like, crying out loud. Like, just, I mean, it's not like date your own kind, because I mean, like I said, there are examples of it happening and other things. But I'm like, it is a very, I mean, actually, you could even look at Nolan and his mom. It was kind of fucked up. Like, sure, can a hero date a normie? Sure. But Nolan and his mom met at a later stage in life. I don't think in college it's working out. Okay, there's way too much going on. Yeah. So just get it over with. It's done. You're not gonna make it. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. So we got some interesting stuff for me. Realizing about Nolan. Two things is, one is with how chaotic everything is right now. Yeah. Like all these villains propping up, all this stuff going on and stuff. It makes me think, at least because you don't really hear about this before, it makes you realize how prominent Nolan was on Earth. Yeah. Like, I mean, Omni-Man was the Superman. And like, now that he's gone, even though you got the Immortal and you have Mark and you have the Guardians, like, it's like a field day. Like, the villains are showing up, and you're just realizing, oh, like, yes, he was a terrible bastard and his real intentions were horrible, but they also were like, oh, he was getting shit done. Like when Omni-Man was here, villains were like, nope, not going out today. I'm staying home. And so that's when I just realized, like, yeah, the one thing that changes, Omni-Man's gone.
Yeah.
And
no, Omni-Man was like, this is my hoe, step off. Like, I mean, and there's like that in that first season where he goes and takes out that entire planet of aliens. It's like, Earth is not to be conquered by you. Yeah. Like, I already conquered this. This is my territory. You back off. Yeah.
It's no joke. But yeah, and then the other thing I'd put is this: when Mark is talking about everything, he's just like, I still love him. And I'm like, I get that sentiment, but also like, I don't know if I could survive loving my father after he literally took me and made me kill a freaking whole subway full of people. Like there are,
or used me as the bat to bash up a bunch of people to death.
I'm like, you hear about people who, you know, they have a parent who's a killer or something, or just a family who's a killer, or someone who does a crime. And like, I get it to some extent, but I'm just like, but there are limits. There are limits. And I feel like Dad commits mass genocide on the planet before Bounton. Limit crossed. Limit is crossed. I'm sorry.
We get
especially Dad commits mass genocide, like we already said, using meat.
Yeah. So we get a little Alan the alien in this. More than I would like, honestly.
Really?
I'm not a big fan of the Alan the alien character.
I love Alan the alien.
I don't like the douchebag joke.
The douchebag joke was a little much. Yeah. But overall, I don't know.
A little too sausage party for me. You know. But anyway, he shows up. There's a little tuffle between him and the Immortal. It all gets worked out.
Sure. Like, just looking at power scale wise, I'm like, okay, the Immortal couldn't handle Nolan and stuff, and I'm pretty sure even I think Mark
the Immortal. Okay, so there's a part really early in this where Mark is like, "Let me take the bomb to the guy. I'm faster and stronger than you are." I'm like, faster, maybe. I don't think so, but definitely not stronger. I feel like the Immortal could take down Mark.
I don't know.
Because he almost took down Nolan.
He almost did. Yeah.
He almost took down Omni-Man.
But anyway, so the thing I was thinking about, though, is why I put my money on Alan winning versus the Immortal is Mark and Alan fought fairly balanced pre-power up. Yeah. And so I just feel like Alan at this power is stronger than the Immortal.
Alan would definitely take out the Immortal.
Yeah.
He just didn't try.
Yeah, he was being the cool head.
I mean, he went toe to toe for a few minutes against 3 Viltrumites or something like that at once. Like, he's got something. He's working with something. Yeah. But anyway, Alan's come to take him back to the council or whatever and whatnot. And Mark's like, no, but check out these books.
Yes.
And it turns out, so we finally get an answer to read my books.
Yes,
which we've been waiting for. Yeah, his science fiction books that he wrote and never really got published. And it turns out that all the books are about weapons
things that could possibly kill
or creatures that can harm Viltrumites.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing I think it's interesting, once again, it's like Nolan is a very interesting character because, like you said, it makes you wonder, like, so was he always like? Not. I don't think he, like I said, up until Mark, confronted him. I think he was still dead set on Viltrumite plan and all that stuff. But I think maybe he's always at least considered or thought about possibly. I don't think he was going to, but at least thought about revolting or leaving the Viltrumite way. Because the fact that he wrote these books, documenting this stuff, is very interesting.
Yeah, but only a specific. I mean, if Alan wasn't there, it would have turned out to be nothing.
Yeah.
Like Mark kind of had the idea that like it was related to something, but until Alan saw it and was like, oh, that's that guy, that's that thing. Yeah. That's that legend. Yeah. Like,
so yeah, Alan was there to take Mark back to join the council. And this once again also ties into the, Mark and Amber are wasting our time. But Mark turns him down. I mean, one is because he just got back from space twice and stuff, but he also was like, yeah, things with my girlfriend. I'm like, hold up. Like one of the others said, this relationship is doomed. And also, even if it's not doomed, the one thing that is kind of annoying me about Mark is and I'm like, I guess, how do you broach the subject? But they made it very clear. They made it very clear. he has 1 year to bring the Earth to heal.
Yeah, they haven't even addressed this yet.
About to bring the Earth to heal, and make them, subservient to the Viltrumites, or they're going to come and wreck some shit. Yeah. And I'm like, Mark, I know Amber's important to you, but guess what? Amber doesn't survive Viltrumite invasion.
Bigger fish to fry.
You get in Alan's car. I guess he doesn't. They're just going to fly. But still, you go with Alan, and you go talk to the people who are talk about how you could stop the Viltrumites. Because right now, you don't have a plan. You have no idea. And I'm looking at the heroes of Earth, especially, I mean, I know, like I said, they were on the weaker scale, but especially the 3 that just got taken out by Lizard King. There is no way they're ready to fight the Viltrumites. Yeah. So I'm like, go talk to the council of people who have been studying this and trying to figure this out for decades, and go to them, because you have no plan and don't act like you do. And you have a year is not a long bit of time.
Without knowing the council resistance at angle, right, is you go to Cecil and be like, this is happening. And then Cecil goes, okay, we're going to subjugate the world. We're going to make it look like that. And then we're going to start getting to work on an underground resistance of some sort. So that way, when the Viltrumites get here, they think everything's kosher. But we got a trap getting set and in the works.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the way you do it.
It's just, freaking A.
But we got a little unfortunate Mr. Astronaut guy. Who got saved at the beginning. Goes cleaning up his nasty apartment. And then throws up.
Turns out he got one in him.
He's got a sequid in him. Yep.
And I'm just like, well, we're screwed. Like I said, we don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they can self-multiply or something, but we don't know.
Some kind of mitosis or something.
I'm just like...
Or can he communicate across, stellar distances?
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, it's that. I mean, that's there's so much. We got that. We have the brain dude back. We have, like I said, the overarching Viltrumites coming. I'm trying to think what else.
A relationship problem.
We got
the baby. We got Donald. We got a lot of moving pieces.
There's a lot of moving pieces and 2 episodes left where it's like,
I don't know.
I don't even know what this next 2 episodes looks like, but yeah, it's
this was kind of a weaker episode, but it was more
a weaker
just
episode.
Moving the plot along. I didn't really feel any really good musical notes or anything like that. Like any scenes that made me go, oh yeah, this is why I really like this show. But it's fine. It's
not every episode is that.
Sometimes just
the last episode definitely had
story.
that. Yeah. So I'm not worried that they've lost their way. You got to have these move plot points.
You've only got so much real estate to work with here. Even though the episodes are longer.
Yep.
You need to get on it, guys. Cut trim some fat.
And season 3 better be not that far. They already said that there's not going to be nearly as big a break, but yeah.
I'm imagining by the end of the year in the show's timeline, the brother's going to be ready to fight. Yeah. He's going to be like a teenager and have developed his powers.
Yep.
And Mark's going to be training him and be like, okay, we got to fight. And then he's going to hate Dad. He's going to hate Dad with a fiery passion. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. In a sense, I mean, his brother is such a I mean, I'm banking by now the way that his mom was talking. Even if he went back to his planet, no one he knew.
They may not even remember having any record of him ever existing.
I mean, I imagine there's some. I mean, he was part of the royal lineage, so I imagine that there'll be some record of him. But still, it's just going to be like, oh yeah, you're that legend. When you show back up, oh yeah, you're that one. The 10 generations back, that emperor who came here from another planet. Yeah. You're his son. It's just that's such a weird thing that your family's long. I wonder if it never said. I guess they wouldn't. I wonder if his mom had any siblings who have kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's can he go back and find someone of his family line, 3 generations down, like a great cousin or something?
I am king now.
I mean, he is the emperor's son. I mean, he's been gone. He should be able to come back and assume the throne.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, Robert has informed me that he has watched all the anime.
All the anime.
I don't think he has, so if you have any recommendations of anime Robert could watch so he can complete his Weeb transformation,
Yeah.
send those our way.
If it's about talking swords or talking vending machines, I've already been there. I'll talk about it on a future episode.
I mean, you don't know. There could be multiple talking vending machine shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, send us anything you got, any ratings, reviews, 5 stars, and thanks so much for listening. Bye.